So one thing I will share is that this kind of shows what kind of guy you are is that I asked you to come out a couple years ago and come just talk, and I really appreciate. I mean, it was a thrill to come out and talk for a couple hours. And one of the things that I took away from that is that at the time I was talking to you about my band that I was running, being frustrated with kind of the music business. It was kind of basically a music business lesson, sort of. But one thing you said to me that I'll never forget is you said, the faster you get your head into reality, the better off you're gonna be.
I said that.
You did. That's a pretty killer quote, man. But that's a little bit similar to what you were just talking about you got to be really really true about what you're trying to go for. If it's really just girls, or if you are actually willing to do the work, like be honest with yourself, So the one thing that was kind of cracking me up at the time is we were talking about two things. One, I was wanting, hey, all the guys that I was working with, if I just wish really hard, they'll answer the phone, or if I just wish really hard, then they'll get on board. And you were kind of mentioning, well, you need to realize what this guy is actually gonna do, not what you wish he's gonna do. And then the same mentality was basically to kind of club owners and even people in general coming to see the shows. Mm-hmm. Quit wishing that the public is going to want this. The public actually wants this, and so you just, so a lot of times I think, especially specifically with club owners, there's a lot of musicians that look at it as a versus kind of thing, and we did that as kids. It was like kids against the adults, and it's the same thing. And I know you and I, had a real good conversation about that, about some musicians that just, they don't see it as a team,
Right.
You and the club owner. Can
Right.
you talk a little bit about that?
Well, again, to me, all my thought process, everything I do stems from me wanting to make a living at playing music. So I'm a very analytical person, and the way I approach it is probably different than most musicians, but when I approach it, I think, okay, here's a guy, whoever he is, he opened this venue, and I go back, my brain says, well, why do you think he opened that venue? And my brain tells me he wants to make money. Mm-hmm. So what is it that he's selling? He's selling alcohol. What is my job here? My job, again, me just being raw, one-on-one analytical, is my job is to attract people to come into his place to buy his alcohol. Because that's how he makes money. Because 90% of the places in Kansas City do not charge a cover charge. Mm-hmm. They make money off the board. Right. So again, it's a circle to me. Yeah. It's a partnership. It's a circle. It's a cycle. It's like the consumer, the club owner that has the venue, and then the person that's the attraction, which is me or whoever the musician is. So I see it where we're all in it together. If the people have a good time at this man's club, they're gonna want to come. That's part of my job, to make sure they have a good time. If they have a good time and spend enough money, his club will be here for years to come. Mm-hmm. So he's happy that I'm there, and the people are happy that I'm there. They're happy to be in his place. Mm-hmm. And so to me, there is no rivalry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to figure out your worth. So you're not charging so much that he can't pay you, and you can't be undercharged so much that everybody's buying a Mercedes and you still riding a bicycle to the gig. So you have to, that's something that the way I think I'm conscious of. Mm-hmm. So it's like through the years, and here's the other thing, because we're all consumers. I've heard musicians say, well, people don't support the music. I don't think that, again, this is my opinion, and I might get shot down for this, but I don't think it's anybody's obligation to support anything. I think when I go out and buy gas, it's because I need it to put in my car, and I'm not going to support this place over here that charges $1.45 if this place over here charges $1 period. Unless this $1.45 per gallon gas gets me further, makes my car last longer. Right. So again, everything is the same to me. It's like I don't think that people have an obligation to support the arts. I think I have an obligation to present a product that will be appealing to them. Right. That's the way I approach. I'm not saying that again, this is Lonnie's opinion. Mm-hmm. It could be very wrong for a lot of people watching, but this is how I approach it. So I don't approach it, it's the same. I mean, I look at everything. I go 101. I go to the lowest common denominator. Right. It's like if you were dating a girl, mm-hmm. and she doesn't like cowboy boots. Why would you wear cowboy boots every time you're around her? Right. If she doesn't like a beard, why would you grow a beard? Mm-hmm. Now, so my thing is, if you know what your audience wants, why would you not give it to them? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't understand that. I mean, but I'm an entertainer though. Mm-hmm. At home, I'm an artist. I'm trying to get better. When I put on my tap shoes, I'm trying. But when I'm in front of people, again, my opinion, I feel like it's my job to help them to have an enjoyable evening. Mm-hmm. I think I do the same way if they were a guest in my home. I don't just open the door and say, hey, how you doing? And then go sit and flip the tea. You greet them at the door and say, hey, how's it going? And then mm-hmm. the whole time that they are there, you're hosting them. You put out some hors d'oeuvres. You probably wouldn't have put out no hors d'oeuvres if it was just you at the house. Mm-hmm. You'd just grab the can of beer out there and then open a bag of potatoes. Mm-hmm. You don't do that when your company comes over. So I don't do that I don't just sit and get into my own head and practice on the mm-hmm. bandstand. Mm-hmm. I don't do that. I try to present what I've perfected, and I try to present it in a way that will make them have an enjoyable evening and make them want to come again, my opinion.
Well, that's because there's everything is looping into itself too, because that gets to my next point of, and this is unfair that some people frame the idea of this way, but they kind of frame it like I'm an entertainer or I'm an artist, right? And that's unfair because like it's really hard to separate those a lot, and that's getting back to what is my point with being in this bar right now? Because you were talking about that I don't understand people that think that way. Well, that's because that leads me to the conclusion that they're worried about themselves, right? They're not thinking about the people that want to become artists, right? That's the conclusion. They're not worried about the bar owner. They're not worried about the public. They want to just be in kind of their own head and play music that they like. And you said something interesting to me too. The other thing, and you didn't. I don't think you specifically said this when we met that other time, but this is what I took out of it is I was trying to say that, okay, I'm gonna play these originals and I'm gonna be this jazz guy and I'm gonna have this integrity, and never play covers and all that kind of stuff. And then through the conversation, I kind of realized I'm like, I got 500 cover CDs in my bedroom right now. This doesn't make any sense. I love covers. What am I talking about? And I had to re-examine, and you were kind of trying to show me that, man, you don't always have to drop. You don't have to do the Sweet Home Alabama and Mustang Sally, but you got to do something. You can't just play your 19-minute instrumentals and then nobody shows up. I mean, it's fine, but
again, I think it's all in what you want. Mm-hmm. I want to make a living playing music. Yeah. If you just want to be an artist and you don't care, you really don't. I mean, if that's who you are, I say be that. I really don't say you should be like me. I'm saying that when I quit selling cars, I knew what the odds were. Yeah. And now the odds are way better here in Kansas City than they've ever been now. Mm-hmm. This is like 15 years later now. Mm-hmm. And so I've been fortunate that now there are a lot of places to play. But when I quit selling cars, I was working in the corner of a little restaurant. That was not a music venue. Mm-hmm. That was a restaurant that had music once every 2 weeks, and I was that guy. Yeah. Yeah. So this with the odds being that, if I want to continue to be that guy, because now I don't have the safety net of having a job, what are these people responding to? Mm-hmm. And so, to me, it's easy mathematics or easy logic. So, but to the person that is that guy that I just want to play my original music, and I just want to play things that are artistically interesting enough to me and my musicians, that I don't say anything. I'm not against that.
Right.
I think there's a place for that, and that's just not who I am. Me, Lonnie, personally, you know, and you know, I think it's all in. I've always wanted to be like Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra and those people. It's not like I see that as a way of shying away from being an artist. Right. I don't see that as a step down.
Yeah.
I don't see, and so because I grew up liking Marvin Gaye and enjoying James Brown. And I still do. If I look at one of those old clips, it still makes me smile because I actually like that. I don't see it as a step down with my integrity.
Yeah, sure.
To do that. That's really who I am. I'm not that highbrow person that goes to your chamber music every week. Mm-hmm. I'm not that highbrow person that if you come to my house, all you're gonna hear is 1960s John Coltrane all day or Archie Shepp or something like that. I'm not that person. Mm-hmm. I like it, but that's not what I do. I don't. If you go in my car now and we flip on push the start, you're not gonna just hear.
Yeah.
And so why would I try to do that? That's not. Now if you are that person, because there are people now. Now, let me back up with the people on the bandstand with me, because I don't hire somebody because they're an entertainer. I want the best musicians I can find. Right. And whatever your thing is, I don't care if you can do my thing and help me to. It's all about me hiring the best musicians that I can find that can help me to present a quality product. But I'm in charge of the product. It's their job to help me. Right. And so I'm fortunate that most of the musicians that I hire, and I've been with you've seen me with some very great musicians, and they don't mind at least stepping in my world for a minute, because I don't ask them to not be them. I don't ask them to become, I'm an entertainer. You be the best piano player, the greatest piano player, the most artistic. You be the best bass player. Right. You be do you. That's why you're here. I want you to be you. I don't want you to be me. And you be the drummer. I don't want you to turn into Lonnie. Right. But I'm the one that's in charge of presenting this. So whatever this group I have and whatever it is they bring to the table, I think if I do have a talent, it's at presenting them.
Yeah.